Thank you for joining us. It is Friday night, December 9th, 2011. This is going to be another extended, very important edition of INFOWARS Nightly News. Lord Christopher Monckton, Mark Moreno are in Durban, South Africa, and they have told us, the interviews are coming up, that this is the most draconian UN genocidal operation, eugenics operation that they have ever seen. Those interviews are coming up. We also have a report on John Corzine. That's coming up. But I do want to talk about the gravity of what we face here. It is because of you, the viewers of INFOWARS.com and PRISONPLANET.tv, that we're even here. If it wasn't you out there who love liberty resonating with our message, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If it wasn't for the crew in there and the work they do, we wouldn't be here. Every day I pinch myself at what's happening in our world, and I pinch myself again that I am at the very forefront with you in the fight against these tyrants. It is an incredible, incredible responsibility. Truth is stranger than fiction, and we're here right now. The fight against good and evil, it's real. Let's go ahead and get into the news this evening. First article, Obama administration launches major anti-terror propaganda offensive. And I was reading their actual press release today, and it says Al-Qaeda is no longer the threat. It's domestic groups and extremism, which is political speech. And in the manuals, if you don't like the Federal Reserve or carbon taxes, you are a terrorist. Protesting, left, right, whatever you are, a Native American group, a conservative, liberal, whatever it is, you're a terrorist. No, the government putting down stuff like this on paper is the terrorist. And you are the un-American trash. The same people that ship guns into Mexico to kill thousands and hundreds on our side of the border to blame the Second Amendment. You are convicted, you are admitted criminals. Period. People are like, well, I'll vote Republican. They're bought and paid for too. This political class, the two twin parties, the two-party dictatorship is a fraud. And reading that AP article and others today, it just blew me away how brazen it was. I mean, they are shifting gears for this whole police state grid on the American people. And that's not really a surprise, because we've now learned that not only did the Halliburton and KBR, Kellogg, Brown and Root, put out 3 days ago an internal memorandum trying to hire subcontractors to be on a 72-hour notice on a paid contract to stand by to man civil disobedience camps all over the United States. Now hiding in plain view, we have an INFOWARS.com article that links to the Business Insider article. Army post job for internment specialists following KBR call for FEMA camp subcontractors. Now, we've reported old calls for this. This is a new one specifically for the military to hire a bunch of state, county, and federal prison guards to man this situation. You can read the article at Business Insider and also at INFOWARS.com. Quote, every soldier that enlists in the Army chooses a military occupational specialty, MOS, writes Robert Johnson. Designed by a number and a letter and designated, the 31E MOS now includes advanced responsibilities, including command and control of prisoner of war and civilian internee camps. Civilian internee camps, which they passed a law last week, NDAA, saying the military can operate in America and indefinitely detain you and nobody knows where you went. Where'd Alex go? Where'd Marcos go? Where'd Bob go? Wes go? Where'd Rob go? Where'd John go? We don't know, just like in every other third world dictatorship, because a bunch of criminals took over and decided to rob everything, like Corzine. And if the military bends over for it, the police bend over for it, it means civil war. The bankers sit offshore and laugh and roast marshmallows on our flames. Let's just not show up for this party, okay? Let's be a little smarter than they think we are. Big story at INFOWARS.com. Huge story at INFOWARS.com. Let's get it out to everybody. Now, shifting gears into another Homeland Security police state action. Every 2 or 3 days, I see an article in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, or CNET News, 300 domain names, 5,000 domain names, 100 domain names. It's always different. grabbed. And they'll grab whole internet companies, tens of thousands of sites sometimes, and just grab all the servers because they found one downloaded song that was illegal or uncivil on a website. And here's the report. DHS shut down blog for a year on false pretenses. Homeland Security is seizing websites for copyright infringement with no evidence, no judge, no jury, no nothing. In a chilling illustration of how far the internet censorship has advanced, the Department of Homeland Security seized a popular music blog and shut down the website for a year on charges it now admits were completely false. Turns out there were 4 songs on this website being visited over a million times a day of alternative grassroots music, hip-hop, rock and roll, country. And the site's listed on our article. And the DOJ now admits this. And big record companies got mad that alternative groups were able to put their music out and make it popular. So they just said, doesn't matter if they have signed contracts with 4 of our sub-labels for 4 songs, which it turned out they had agreements to play it. They just seized it for a year, bankrupted them. That's big music industry keeping a stranglehold on all this other music you're never going to get to hear because they make sure you don't. If Elvis came along today or Led Zeppelin, you'd never hear them. That's why music's so cruddy. They go with what a few companies want, and that's it. It's another dark age, just like they're shutting down power plants, just like they're shutting down new engine factories and new technology companies. It's called disruptive technology. I have a family member who develops new drugs, and they came up with an ancient medicinal that totally clots blood flow and cuts, and they were told, this is a disruptive technology. We're not going to let this come to market. That's what we deal with here. Whether it's music, technology, art, doesn't matter. Only the insiders and their dirtbag kids and people get to have stuff seen by the public. Just like it was in Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany. You didn't get to have your play go out to the public or your music go out unless your wife got down and performed fellatio on the Nazi officer over that, or the Soviet officer. And that's the opposite of freedom, and that's what I declare war on here today. A bunch of control freak bastards controlling our lives. I'm sorry, it's a family show, but that's what they are. They are not from humanity. They were born of corruption, not of this species, and I'm sick of them. Bunch of control freaks. So there's that article. Continuing, House Republicans look to strip the TSA screeners of their officer title, which is finally a move in the right direction. You know, the FBI can't go to a park and randomly grab your wife's genitals or your son's genitals or your genitals. And they're under supposedly the Bill of Rights Constitution. They can't do that. So how did they create 10 years ago a federal agency that takes control, sticks their hands down your pants, puts you in microwave ovens, and Chertoff, the former head of Homeland Security, makes money off of it? How do they do that? They just announced this. And Congress is pointing out, along with law enforcement and constitutional scholars, that this is like handing out badges to just people on the street and saying, you're now cops. They're not even having badges. And they're saying, you're not going to have 10 badges anymore. You're not going to have this name officer. You're not you know, when a cop has to go sign up and pay money to be bonded to be a peace officer. Doesn't mean they're perfect either, but it's a big deal. You're now swearing to the people, I'm going to uphold this, and you got to put money up in case you violate what your duty is. But we just take all these people, pay a minimum wage. And I had one of them say, I'm going to stick my hands down your pants in Las Vegas because it's my administrative privilege. So I've got a clip here from what the famous movie, in fact, yeah, that's right, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, my grandfather's favorite movie. I watched it with him before he died at the hospital. This movie, you've seen it in some comedy films like Badges. We don't need no stinking badges. But here it is from the original film where they're talking about, hey, badges, we don't need no stinking badges. Well, the TSA, they've got badges, but they were just given to them. No training, no nothing. They just trample over everyone. Yeah, it's the Treasure of the Sierra Madres, famous film, of course. In fact, I'm having a senile moment. Who's the guy in the Maltese Falcon? Humphrey Bogart's in it. Let's go ahead and go to this clip of the TSA, because I guarantee you, after they strip them of the officer name and the badge and the bonded officer of the state court or the federal court, they're just going to say, You know, used to you had to have military officers commissioned by Congress because they wouldn't trust the president to appoint his own military people. Why? Because the president could become a dictator. Separation of powers. Now it's just, I'll hand out badges to everybody. Let them strip search Granny over and over again. Let's go to this Humphrey Bogart film. Here it is.
Está echadita.
Oiga, señor, we are federales. You know, the mountain police.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Same thing with the TSA. Listen, I'm going to stick my hands down your 5-year-old daughter's pants and grab her genitalia. Miss USA, we're going to grab her vagina as well. It's freedom. It's stopping Al-Qaeda. This old lady here on an oxygen tank, we're going to strip her down, keeping you safe. Everything's fine. We got a microwave oven here that doesn't even protect you, but it's all right. We're going to do it. This is what's going on in this country. So people are waking up to the fact that their stinking badges are made up. Now, continuing and moving right along, Bush press secretary calls Ron Paul nuts following 911 Glee comments. And Ron Paul basically came out to Ari Fleischer. You know, he made the point that Bush was gleeful, and it's been confirmed they wanted to attack Iraq within minutes of 9/11 and blame all these enemies and take domestic rights, and that there have been reports that Bush and Cheney were happy about it. Marvin Bush gave a speech admitting it. We filmed in Austin. So all of this has gone on, and Ron Paul comes out and says, think of what happened after 9/11. The minute before there was any assessment, there was a glee administration because now we can invade Iraq, and so the war drums beat, Paul said. That's exactly what they're doing now with Iran. See, it's the idea of people that have products and ideas who want to be friends with everybody and engage in commerce versus those that just want to attack everybody. And the American ideal of George Washington is be friends with everybody unless they attack you. Well, the globalists just attack themselves and then say a foreign enemy did it. So there's that report. And the clown is Ari Fleischer, working for known war criminals on record. Continuing, Ron Paul dominates favorable Twitter election coverage. We've got a report on that. He overall, if you scan Twitter, is the overall positive person. He's won all the major straw polls. And, of course, he is the favorite to win Iowa right now. So Mother Jones and other George Soros banker-run fake liberal fascistic sites have come out and said, well, just don't worry. You know, if Ron Paul wins in Iowa, it's a fluke. Just never mind him. In fact, I was watching Slimeball Chris Matthews in there during the break on MSNBC, and he was saying, oh, well, Ron Paul may be in second place in Iowa or first place, but he is not even credible, so let's just not look at him. Bunch of political sold-out whores say, don't look at Ron Paul. Well, you want to look there immediately. Continuing, we're going to go to break and come back with our top story of the evening, this big Durban, South Africa UN meeting that is taking place. But when are we going to get to the news report on the